In today's video, we're going to go ahead and break down everything you need to know on whether you want to buy a quad or whether you want to buy a dirt bike, and we're going to go over all the pros and cons of each. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Personal opinion on what I learned from my riding experience. This has nothing to do with this is what you should for 100% do. I could recommend a million different things, but it all just goes back to what is your heart telling you, what are you comfortable with, and what do you want to try? Do you want to try a quad? Do they sound more fun? Do you want to try a dirt bike? Does it sound more fun to you? Let that grow and just full send that, because that is, you know, your heart and your spirit being like, I really want to try this. And you know, what are you waiting for? Try it. It's going to be great. You're going to have fun. You can find fun, and that's another thing that some people forget is you can find fun on either machine. It's just what you want to do and where you want to find the fun at. All right, first up, we've got the quad life. Advantages of a quad are it's very planted, very stable. You can drift at very high speeds as long as you're careful with that. And another thing to take into consideration is learning how to wheelie, learning how to do jumps, learning how to get comfortable in the air. I feel like a quad is sometimes going to be a little bit easier. They are a very good entry level rider to get into the sport of, you know, motorsports, power sports, anything like that. Quads are a great way to get into that. This is a YFZ 450. This is a racing quad. So these things are meant to rip and go fast. As you can see, Dylan ripping it. He's going full send, or Garrett learning how to wheelie. These guys didn't know how to wheelie at all before having a quad, and now they're starting to learn how to jump, learning how to wheelie. It's so cool to see their progression, but I feel like maybe if they were on a dirt bike to start, that they would be more scared than they would be having fun, for the simple fact being dirt bikes are really, really intimidating, especially when you've never ridden a machine in your life. If you're more of a trail rider, looking to do trails, looking to do, you know, mudding or that type of terrain, and this is your first ever instance trying to figure things out, I'd probably recommend going with a quad over a dirt bike. They're going to be better to learn how to feel out in the air. Like when you jump and stuff, you're going to be able to get a little bit more comfortable in the air with a quad when you're jumping and feeling like what it's like to jump a machine and learn how to do that well. You know, quads are a great way to learn how to jump because you don't have to worry about the balancing. You don't have to worry about, you know, oh crap, am I landing a little sideways? Sure, these things can get a little sideways, but they're a lot more forgiving. I would just highly, highly recommend a quad for someone that is just new, just starting, maybe kind of wanting to do more trails than you do competitive racing. Usually motocross and quads are two totally separate ball games. One being dirt bikes and quads don't mix when it comes to dirt bike tracks and motocross tracks. They do not like each other. So if you are looking into going more for the motocross or motorsport side of things, of racing and, you know, being very competitive and finding tracks around your area, maybe dirt bikes are going to be a better option, just for the simple fact being they're a lot easier to find. So overall, those are the areas that I feel like a quad is very versatile, very nice to have, and overall just a great machine to start out on. So let's go ahead and move on over to the dirt bike side of things, and we will check those out next. As you know, I started out on a quad growing up. I grew up with one my entire life, so it's all I really knew. And then about the age of 18, I decided I want to try dirt bikes out. And wow, what a game changer that was. Holy cow. You know, some pros to dirt bikes over ATVs. First off, you can find a lot more tracks to ride on than a quad. You can do a lot more competitive racing with a dirt bike. That's easier to find. Also, another thing that's really cool about dirt bikes is once you kind of get the fundamentals down, these things are so much fun to learn how to maneuver in the air, to learn how to, you know, just, they're so flickable and maneuverable and light. They're so light. A quad is super heavy. These things are not planted. They are extremely, extremely fast. They are very maneuverable. You're able to kind of put them where you want them after you learn proper technique and how to maneuver around a bike. A couple advantages besides, you know, finding tracks. These things you can progress really fast on if you're careful. You know, a lot of guys learn how to ride really good. You know, it takes time to learn all of the proper technique, but once you get proper technique on a dirt bike, you can really just like escalate your entire riding style and feel really comfortable on a dirt bike. It took me a while to feel really comfortable on it, but it just comes back to seat time. So overall, if you're looking on what you want to do, I'd say dirt bike is great for competitive racing, learning how to up your abilities after you have the fundamentals down. I'd also say another great thing that these bad boys have going for them is you can find them for a relatively decent price. Quads are fairly expensive. You know, dirt bikes aren't cheap by any means, but they're a little bit cheaper than a quad. In my opinion, I feel like these things are a lot more fun after a certain time frame. After you kind of figure out all of the things on a quad that you can do, it kind of gets a little bit melancholy after a while and a little bit mundane to ride every once in a while. They're still fun, don't get me wrong, but like I said, after you have those fundamentals down, I feel like I haven't ever gotten bored riding my dirt bike. I feel like there's always something new and something fun I can learn in the process, or I'm still figuring a ton of stuff out. I've been riding for like 8 years and there's still just a great variety of still learning good technique, how to implement that, how to properly jump. It's just a lot broader of a range for upping your skill and ability. And once you learn that, you're gonna have an endless amount of fun on these. I know when I first started riding dirt bikes, I was not comfortable on the trail at all. I felt like on loose gravel, every time I got on loose gravel, my whole bike was gonna wash out. On a quad, you don't have to worry about it, they're very planted. The other aspect is mudding or, you know, drifting. Quads do a great job at that. Dirt bikes don't do such a great job at that because they're not meant for it. So thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. Make sure you check out all my other videos as well and subscribe if you are new. Leave a comment down below, and we're all big family here, man. So don't be sitting there, you know, trashing in the comments. ATVs are better, dirt bikes are better. Let's be real, guys. We're still a big power sports community, and it is still fun to get our machines out and go rip. So let's keep it that way, and we'll talk to you in the next one.